This rope measures 2 meters in length. It hangs from the ceiling beam. This hunting rifle spans 1 meter. It rests against the floor. This rubber hose is 10 centimeters long. It is abandoned in a sealed car. When death can be measured in length, perhaps it becomes less fearsome. This old man has long contemplated a plan to end it all. No one knows the reason behind his actions. The old man is named Otto. He is rigid, stubborn, and ice cold. The whole world holds nothing pleasing to his eyes. Yet he is afflicted with OCD, compelled to intervene when things aren't to his liking. For instance, he discards flyers carelessly strewn about the neighborhood, voluntarily sorts through the trash, repositions bicycles parked haphazardly, drives away cars not belonging to the residents, scolds neighbors' dogs for relieving themselves wherever they please, and chases away shedding feline creatures. An old man like this is often perceived as unfriendly. Thus, Otto is dubbed neighbor from hell by those around him. One day, as usual, Otto arrives at his workplace. As he enters the office, his colleagues greeted him with enthusiastic applause and present him with a scrumptious cake. For today is the day Otto retires, but he cannot muster a smile. Working here has been a part of his life. Now, as he leaves this place, he experiences a fleeting moment, feeling abandoned by life. Back at home, Otto dresses neatly, tidies up the house. His face reveals a determined expression. As if making a resolution, he secures the noose to the ceiling. But the scene outside the window vexes him greatly. New neighbor. Tommy is backing his car into the garage. His pregnant wife, Marisol, directs him from the roadside. In the end, the car's rear collides with another vehicle. Witnessing this, Otto's rage erupts. He yanks Tommy out and takes the driver's seat, cursing at Tommy nonstop. It's then he notices 2 adorable little girls in the back seat. Afraid of corrupting the children, Otto promptly shuts his mouth and assists his neighbor in parking the car properly. Returning home to resume his plan to end his life, he is once again interrupted by a knock on the door. Opening it, he finds Marisol and Tommy. They bring delicious food to express their gratitude. Otto doesn't invite them in, accepts the boxed meals, and sends the couple on their way. After eating and drinking his fill, he prepares to get down to business. This time, the process goes smoothly. Memories of past days appear before him like a fast-moving carousel. Otto so eagerly anticipates his end, for his wife had tragically passed away years prior. Now, having lost his job, he is left with no support or attachment. In such a case, why not journey to another world to be with his beloved? However, the rope suddenly snaps and Otto's plan fails. He cannot help but reminisce about the past. Back then, Otto was a handsome young man. Due to congenital heart disease, he didn't pass the military conscription physical exam. As he prepared to board the train to leave, he noticed a girl chasing the train, accidentally leaving a book on the platform. Otto hastily picked up the book, followed the girl into the carriage. Little did he expect that this act would lead to the girl becoming his life companion. The girl's name was Sonia Kind, generous and exuding elegance. At that time, Otto was a poor lad. Searching through his belongings, he couldn't even gather enough money for a train ticket. Seeing his plight, Sonia paid for Otto's ticket, allowing him to board this train filled with love. Whenever he recalled the warm memories of the past, Otto couldn't help but visit Sonia's gravestone, whispering to her, "I miss you." As the departed leave, the sun still rises as usual. The next day, Otto washes the food containers and returns them to Marisol. Leaving a note behind, it reads, "Thank you, the food was delicious." Then, as usual, he begins to patrol the neighborhood. He cleans up, stops outsider vehicles from entering the community. Upon seeing a dog owner abusing a stray cat with a rock, Otto directly warns her that if it happens again, he will throw her dog onto the roof. He then looks at the stray cat with disgust and tells it to run away. Although Otto's attitude may be off-putting, he always treats the world with gentleness, such a sunder old man. Once again, he initiates a new plan to end his life. His thoughts, however, return to that train station. Ever since their parting, Otto couldn't forget Sonia. He waited at the station daily for her reappearance. Finally, with persistence, Otto saw Sonia again, claiming to return the ticket money. But in truth, he wanted to see her once more. That evening, Otto, holding flowers, shared dinner with Sonia, her table laden with food while Otto had only a bowl of clear soup. Sonia, puzzled, insistently inquires, only then learns Otto is an orphan. His parents passed away when he was young. Since then, he lived in poverty. Growing up, he sought a job by joining the military but was rejected due to health issues. Coming to this upscale restaurant had drained his entire savings to provide Sonia with more delicious food. Otto purposely ate at home before the date, sensitive and insecure. He knew no girl would want to suffer with a poor lad. He promptly prepares to leave the restaurant. Sonia, touched by his sincerity, grasps Otto's hand. At this moment, nothing could be more heart-moving than a kiss. Thus, the two begin a beautiful romance. Not long after, on the day Otto received his engineering diploma, he proposed to Sonia. The two lived happily together just as Otto was immersed in his dream. The urgent knocking on the door once again interrupted his plan. Marisol, looking panicked, explained Tommy had fallen off a ladder while renovating their house. She hoped Otto could help take him to the hospital. Grumbling, Otto drove the neighbors to the hospital and even silently helped Marisol look after the two children. Having finally finished everything, Otto managed to escape the annoying situation. Since his story with Sonia began at the train station, he figured it should end there as well. Thinking this, Otto's feet involuntarily stepped to the edge of the tracks. Little did he expect that before he could lie on the tracks, an old man nearby fainted on the tracks first. This sudden scene caught everyone's attention. Passers-by took out their phones to film, but no one reached out to help the old man. Cursing, Otto jumped down from the platform to rescue the old man. However, instead of climbing back up, he stood on the tracks, waiting for the train to come. Seeing the train getting closer, Otto felt a bit nervous. Suddenly, a passerby on the platform reached out to Otto. Otto grabbed the hand, climbing back onto the platform just before the train arrived. Perhaps Otto didn't want to cause trouble for everyone, or perhaps this way of dying was too gruesome. In any case, he abandoned the idea of lying on the tracks. As he sat in his car thinking about the next method Marisol brought her daughter's drawing, she pointed to the little blue figure, saying it was Otto, different from the other colorless figures. Only Otto was drawn with color, because in the children's hearts, Otto was the one who brought color to their lives. At that moment, a neighbor returned the stray cat due to the cold weather. Otto handed the stray cat over to the neighbor to take care of. However, the neighbor was allergic to cat hair. With no other choice, Otto took on the responsibility of cleaning up after the cat. He brought the stray cat to his wife's grave again. He said that going through with his plan was much harder than he had imagined. Now there was an additional guest at home. Otto made a promise to his wife. Once he took care of the stray cat, he would try to finally carry out his plan. On that day, the flyer delivery guy approached Otto's door once more. Otto stopped him. Discovering he had been a student of Sonia's, his utmost admiration went to Sonia, for he was a transgender individual. Sonia not only refrained from discrimination, but also encouraged other teachers to embrace him with an open heart. Otto later assisted him in repairing his bicycle. The guy agreed to cease littering flyers. Then Otto spotted the male neighbor who had brought the cat, teaching Marisol to drive. In his eyes, it was a fool, teaching another fool to drive. Unwilling to let this pass, Otto immediately offered to teach Marisol to drive. Indeed, Marisol struggled while driving, starting and stopping. Even stalling at intersections, drivers behind honked their horns furiously, making Marisol increasingly anxious. Starting the car even became difficult. Otto opened the car door and grabbed the driver behind, warning him not to honk again, or he wouldn't mind taking him down before going through with his plan. Under Otto's guidance, Marisol's driving skills improved significantly. Lonely Otto's life seemed to gain some color. Through Marisol's constant interruptions, Otto would often share with her stories about him and Sonia, as well as when they first moved into the neighborhood. It delighted Marisol. She believed if Sonia were alive, they would undoubtedly become the best of friends. As time went by, their relationship grew closer. Marisol entrusted her children to Otto when taking her driving test. Returning home after the exam, she found Otto had taken great care of the kids and the broken dishwasher was working again. The next day, due to Otto's heroic deed, the internet buzzed with excitement. Reporters approached him, hoping for an exclusive first-hand story. Otto, unwilling to accept such a trivial interview, locked the reporter in the garage. When Marisol inquired about it, Otto told her he hadn't locked the garage, and it could be opened from inside. Marisol found Otto quite unique. Assuming their relationship was close, Marisol wanted to help Otto move on from losing his wife, but was met with a harsh rebuke. Otto declared Sonia was his everything, and he would never forget her as long as he lived. Then a stranger's car attempted to enter the neighborhood. Otto hurriedly intercepted it. The driver was the CEO of a real estate company. He knew Otto and Sonia's story and cautioned Otto not to meddle in other people's affairs, but to take care of his own heart. The CEO's words struck a chord, leaving Otto deeply wounded. Following anger came boundless sorrow. He knew nobody could understand his life. Only Sonia could deliver him from his misery. Looking at Sonia's picture in the frame, Otto took out his shotgun, determined to end it all. His thoughts drifted back to that summer when Sonia told him he'd become a father. Otto's joy knew no bounds. He immediately took her on a trip, but the bus unexpectedly overturned. Otto was unscathed, but Sophia was left permanently disabled, and they lost the baby. As Otto was lost in thought, there came a knock at the door. Startled, he accidentally discharged the shotgun. The visitor was the flyer distributing young man. He said his family had thrown him out. With nowhere to go, he hoped Otto would take him in. Otto realized his plan to end it all had failed again and agreed to help. The two got along well. Otto took the young man with him on his neighborhood patrol, passing on his experience and wisdom. They ran into the cat-allergic neighbor. He said real estate developers had approached Ruben, another neighbor, hoping they'd sell their house to afford medical treatment. Ruben was in a vegetative state, unable to care for himself, and his wife suffered from Parkinson's. The developers showed no compassion, targeting two helpless elderly people. Otto immediately decided to stand up for Ruben. In the past, they had been very close friends, but their differing tastes in cars drove them apart. Otto loved Ford, while Ruben favored Chevrolet. Neither could convince the other, and they eventually went their separate ways. Otto later tried to mend their relationship by extending an olive branch. He thought they could reconcile their differences, but then Ruben took a liking to Honda. This infuriated Otto, and they broke off their friendship for good. Otto, with the intent to end it all, had already disconnected his phone to contact the real estate executive. Otto asked Marisol to lend him her phone, but she refused because he wouldn't tell her why he needed it. And Otto's actions that day had terrified Marisol. She waited outside for a whole night without seeing him come out. She even thought something terrible had happened to him. Marisol, heartbroken, said not to think everyone else is a fool. Just because you've experienced misfortune, no one is an island. Everyone can be a part of helping one another. Otto was deeply moved. He explained that the real estate developers wanted to evict Ruben's family, and borrowing the phone was meant to stop them. Then Otto recounted the painful past. After recovering, Sonia was bound to a wheelchair for life. When they first moved into the neighborhood, there were no accessible paths for disabled people. Sonia's life was full of limitations. Otto couldn't bear to see his wife suffer, so he proposed a plan to remodel the community, but the developers rejected it because in their eyes, only a fool would undertake such thankless work. And Otto was that fool in their eyes. At a community meeting, the real estate executive spoke harshly, mocking Sonia as a disabled person. This enraged Otto. He caused a commotion at the committee meeting, demanding justice for Sonia, even contemplating destroying the real estate company. Sonia wanted a peaceful life. She tried her best to stop Otto's behavior, and Otto was obedient, accompanying her through the last moments of her life. Later, Otto wanted to join Sonia in the afterlife. That's why he disconnected his phone. But now with Ruben's situation, Otto couldn't go to see Sonia. Yet moved, Marisol lent her phone to Otto. Otto knew the only person who could help him was the female reporter. Just as the real estate developers came to Ruben's house preparing to forcibly evict them, the female reporter also arrived on the scene. She documented all the wrongdoings of the real estate company and confronted the executive fiercely. In the verbal duel, the executive gained no advantage. He had no choice but to leave in disgrace. Otto came to Ruben and told him the story. Seemingly touched by Otto's sincerity, Ruben showed a slight smile on his face. While the reporter was interviewing nearby neighbors, Otto released the cat alien and finally collapsed under the unbearable burden. When Otto woke up, he found himself in a hospital room. Sitting beside him was Marisol. He had listed her as his closest relative. Just then, the doctor entered the ward. He said that Otto had hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. In simple terms, his heart was too large. Marisol couldn't help but laugh. She joked that maybe only those with big hearts are less likely to end it all. Otto showed a relieved expression on his face. Suddenly, Marisol felt something was off. It seemed like she was about to give birth. The scene shifted. Mary gave birth to a baby boy. Otto recovered and was discharged from the hospital. Everyone held a party at home. Otto gifted the baby a crib that he had built by hand for his own child, to Marisol. Marisol was very happy. She handed the baby to Otto. This was his first time holding an infant. His careful manner seemed to transport him back to decades ago, as if he was holding his own child. Such a beautiful moment, he wished he could show it to Sonia. Otto, along with Marisol's family and the stray cat, visited Sonia's tombstone. Otto wiped away the traces of the rope that had been hanging from the ceiling. He gave his Ford to the young man, then bought a pickup truck and took Marisol's family for a ride in the countryside. In the blink of an eye, 3 years had passed. This year's winter was exceptionally cold. It was so cold that the snow outside Otto's door had not been shoveled. Marisol sensed something was wrong. She hurriedly pulled Tommy to Otto's bedroom, only to find that Otto had stopped breathing. At least he didn't leave this world alone. There was a cat by his side. After the sadness had passed, Marisol discovered a letter left by Otto. In it, he wrote not to worry, he didn't do anything foolish. Having a big heart isn't always a good thing. It might be the death of me. That's why he left this letter in advance. The cat needs to be fed twice a day. It has a picky appetite, only eating canned squid, and it likes to hide when going to the bathroom. All the savings in the house were left to her, but there was one request: to hold a funeral. Not too extravagant, just invite all his friends to attend. On the day of the funeral, everyone came to bid farewell to this cranky old man. Perhaps he had annoyed many people in his lifetime, but after his death, everyone agreed with Otto's actions. In fact, in people's hearts, Otto had not really died. He had simply gone to another place to meet the person he most wanted to see. This film is called A Man Called Otto. It is a heartwarming remake that has captured many hearts. The train of life keeps moving forward as long as you still have a breath left. It means that your bond with this world continues. Everyone has experienced some setbacks and challenges, but it doesn't mean that after being hit, you should become as stubborn and withdrawn as Otto. The world is not that cold and heartless. Just like the cat-allergic neighbor, he could endure the discomfort in the freezing cold to save a cat that was about to freeze to death. In the same way, he and Mary used their actions to warm Otto's long-frozen heart. Otto also repaid them with his commitment to live. Dear friends who have watched this far, feel free to like, comment, and share. Your support is what keeps us going. See you next time.